Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Winner Circle Sports Betting podcast. It's Thursday, September the 12th. And that Thursday means Doug Upstone, Chip Chirimbes, yours truly. We're powered by gamblersworld.net. So be sure to check out our sponsor. But before we get to gamblersworld.net and our premium stuff, hit the like button here on our YouTube channel. Give us a follow here and on the Twitter X universe. You see all of our handles there. Go give us a follow. But more, let's get the likes up, folks. Come on. I want the 15K. I said by the end of the year. It's definitely not happening. It didn't happen by August through the start of football season, so we got some work to do there. Speaking of gamblersworld.net, our great sponsors, 3 and 7 day 30 packages are guaranteed. No better time to get on board. It's a football weekend. Thursday night football, Friday night college, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, double header of NFL. All 3 7-30 packages are guaranteed. We don't show a profit. Give you a credit. You come back at it. We got a leaderboard. Boom, bam, bing. Everything is right there for you. Clear as crystal. Win or lose, always the truth from the gentleman with me today. And we got a Thursday night game today. Maybe we'll rush on that. I don't have anything on Miami or the Bills tonight. Not loving anything in this game. And we had a doubleheader on Monday. I don't know if you guys are a fan of the doubleheader Mondays, but Chipper from his – look at him. He's got a nice little button-down shirt. He must be going out to like a little lunch or something afterwards. Chipper, what do you say there, fella? How are you?
It's the East Coast. It's much more formal than Las Vegas, number one. Number two, listen.
Especially on Fremont, you can be naked in a circle over there on Fremont Street. You can just be naked in the box.
Baseball's still going strong, and though tonight we have NFL – I do have a Megabucks in college football action. I see a great game out there. So log on, follow the buy links to become an A-play winner tonight in college football. The NFL game, so-so. Major League Baseball still out there for us. By the way, we're now 5-1 with our NFL Megabucks after 4-1 during the preseason. We hit the opening week, and we hit Iowa State over Iowa on Saturday. So our big games continue to roll, and I'm just looking forward to each and every day now.
There you go. Chipper's on fire. Big weekend ahead. He's still loving baseball with a couple weeks left.
Yep.
Gamblersworld.net. Go get a nice little weekly pass. You get a full weekend of football and baseball from Chip. Mr. Upstone, good to see you.
Good to see you.
It's been a couple days since Monday. But
I can tell you've already been experimenting looking at the look-ahead lines. And you know how I can tell?
What's that?
Because you said there's a doubleheader Monday, because there's only one game this Monday.
Oh, is it?
So I know you've been on those look-ahead lines.
Yes, it is the week. Yes, there's 2 games next Monday. Washington and Cincinnati. Yeah, listen, they come out yesterday. I'm on them. I'm always looking, and I'll tell you what, Miami Dolphins next week. They're a 1-point dog to Seattle. They're gonna have some extra rest. Maybe they win here and it'll flip. Seattle was at home against Denver. Now they're in New England, back home. New England's They're tough, man. It's a physical team. I'm looking at Miami right out of the gate there. And, of course, the Colts against the Bears. Thank you. It's a 3.5. I think the Bears get totally embarrassed on Sunday night. Colts should win. That line will definitely move because I'm Bears on the road back-to-back. No thank you with that rookie quarterback. So, yes, I have been doing a look ahead.
I don't need you two guys on tonight's game, but I am. Okay? So
all right.
At Gamblers World, I got the Miami and Buffalo winner. So check it out. Okay, at the Doug Upstone page there, and 6-3 run, nothing spectacular, but 6-3 run. I'll call it a move. I'm not even going to call it a run. I'm going to call it a move in Major League Baseball there. And so also got my 10-star play up and ready for college football Saturday. So check that out. Hey, looking forward to a outstanding week. I love that we have more information, particularly in college football. With 2 weeks, we've got some things we can really work with. And then also the NFL, we'll learn an awful lot more, especially some of the overreaction of what people are going to bet on from what they saw last week. And we'll see what happens on that.
And Doug, you shouldn't be so modest about being 6-3, because if you go 2-1 every day, I'd quit my job. Oh, well, this is my job. I forgot.
I'll tell you what, if I go 3-2 in life, I'd be set.
There you go. Perfect 3-2. People overestimate the 60%. I don't know. I guess 3-2 doesn't look that good, but you compound. It's like the compound interest. It's good. Keeps doubling up. It's wonderful. Yeah. You mentioned overreactions. I think the games today, we could have some kind of maybe overreactions to how teams performed. But before we get to that NFL, the Progressive Pick'em is still up on gamblersworld.net, so go get involved. It's free to enter, and cash prizes as well as contest prizes like winning somebody's pass, premium stuff. So yes, these are free picks. And yesterday, Chipper, or on Tuesday rather, we went 1-1, I believe, on our picks there. So 3-1 I think we're 3-2 for the week. It's all right.
Yeah, I had the Yankees over. That was an easy one, 10-4.
So I don't have the number in front of me. Well, let's not worry about that. Let's get into football because NFL Sunday, a couple days away. We're going to start with Mr. Upstone here and talking about overreaction. Kansas City and Cincinnati. A 3.5 up to a 6. Now we're sitting at a 5.5. Cincy absolutely lay a total egg. And, I was with you on Monday and someone says, like, yeah, the guy Doug gives good stuff and Sean just gives snarky comments and no info. I don't want to steal all your thunder, who's ever on here with me. I could ramble on about a thing, then you got nothing to talk about, Doug. So I'm not going to say much other than I think the line's a little inflated, but you go ahead.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that the general public's basically going to be on Kansas City for the most part. Yeah. Okay, that's a given. I mean, good Lord, I mean, Cincinnati was absolutely pathetic, losing to what is expected to be coming into the season the worst team in the NFL. So, but and the other thing too, the survivor pool thing from last week. I talked about that on Monday. I mean, good Lord, what they did there. But Kansas City made all the key plays against Baltimore. Okay, winning by a toe. Okay, on the opening game. But, here's the thing. It was, like I said, the 6 point went up to 6 on this one. Odds makers sent it out at 3.5. And, if you think about the 3.5, and I know some people devalue home field advantage in the NFL more than it used to be, and justifiably so. But I still think Kansas City is at least a 3-point favorite, if not a 3.5-point favorite at home. So basically what the odds makers initial line was telling us is that they think this game is basically an even game. So there's been a big change or big enough change in terms of reduction, though. And I think it's mostly smart money that's coming in on this. Here's something to consider, though. Week 1 favorites of 6 points or more that lost their opening game. The following week, they are 20-5 straight up, 19-6 against the spread. Since 2002, let's go out on a limb and take Cincinnati plus the points over the Kansas City Chiefs in the land of barbecue.
Official winner circle play. Doug Upstone, Cincy plus 5.5 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The pen is out. I do write these down. I'm sorry I didn't get the updated numbers, folks, but I always keep track. Chip, thoughts on KC and Cincy?
Well, it's got some incredible stats or some unusual things about it. Cincinnati has 12 rookies on their squad. Cincinnati has 3 different offensive linemen than they had last year, and those teams usually don't fare well early in the season. They only had 70 yards rushing last week, and what are you going to do? How's Burrow supposed to overcome that? And I question just how healthy Burrow may be. He only threw for 154 yards on 29 attempts. Cincinnati did fumble 3 times. They lost 2 of them. These two met on New Year's Eve last year, and Kansas City was a 7-point favorite. They won 25-17. They averaged 6 yards a carry on the ground against the Bengals. And when they do that, they're 7-0, by the way. It's a tough game to call for Cincinnati, but like Doug said, I think for the most part, the general public and people are going to lay Kansas City here. They did win by a toe over the Ravens. That was a great call, Doug, by the way. I just don't. Browning was quarterbacking the last time they met on New Year's Eve, and I don't know if Burrow is completely healthy, but my instinct says with a line like this and a number like this and the public coming on Kansas City that I would have a lean toward the Bengals. That's the way I would look at this. There's no other way. Kansas City, of course, there's some incredible stats about when Cincinnati plays a team that is off a Thursday night, they're 7-0 against that team, and against the number that is. And they're 14-2 when Burrow is quarterbacked against a team that has won and covered as a favorite the previous game. So there are plenty of factors which say Cincinnati's aside, and then there's the factors about the offensive linemen and the slew of rookies they have on the squad. But my mind with this number tells me that Cincinnati should be the play.
All right. You mentioned Kansas City off of the Thursday night games. Let's feed into Andy Reid off bye weeks, extra rest, prep time. The guy's numbers are great over his career. Going back to Philly days, he's something like 35 and 10, just ridiculous. But Burrow went in here. He's beaten Mahomes 3 out of 5 times. He's beaten, and the other games were 23-20. He beat him 3 out of the other 4 times because he didn't play the last game. And the game Kansas City won was 23-20.
Right.
But I'm with you. I don't think this guy's healthy. I remember when he had his little surgery on his wrist, or saying, "Oh, it takes a little while to come back for it." And you saw him all game playing with his. This isn't a November, December game where it's ice cold out there. It's still, you shouldn't be freezing up. Maybe they were looking ahead, right? Now we got Kansas City coming. Let's not worry about the Patriots. People are saying it's because Chase's was a distraction there, no T. Higgins. I don't know. This is a tough one because at 3.5, I was like, sign me up. I got extra rest. And I said this before both teams play. I said both cases play. I says, bet those games before this game because the overreaction, the sky's falling to whoever loses. And we saw that game for Baltimore went from 7 to 9. Go ahead.
Sean, was that 3.5 a real number or was that a projected number?
That was a real number. That was out. That was out on the day before.
Because that would make me think that if you give a team 3 points for being home field, they're virtually telling you that this game was a pick'em. And I can't reason that out. I mean, with the kind of performances we saw in week 1.
Well, no, but it makes sense because every time these guys play, it's a 3-point game. Burrow's won. He's won here. He's won in Kansas City in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, come on, the guy wins there, and they're close games. So you're figuring. Let's be honest. Were we expecting Kansas City's 2 wide receivers to break out like that? No, not right. I mean, if Kansas City's going to get that wide receiver play all year, I mean, you knew how they were good with just Tyreek Hill. Now you have 2 guys. I'm not saying they're Tyreek Hill, but on that kind of level, you're going to be able to throw the ball. Somebody besides Kelsey and some other clown, Sky Moore or Darius Toney. You know what I'm saying? Like, if these 2 guys are first rounders and perform, watch out. And I think people thought of Cincinnati's going to come in here, 27-3, beat the Patriots, move on. It's going to be the Burrow show. I don't mind that opening line was like that. That was probably fair, but no one's taking into consideration that. Hell, I mean, I guess they do now after that performance. Go ahead, Doug.
No, and never underestimate the cheapness of the Cincinnati football organization. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not by accident they have 12 rookies. I can tell you that. Okay, I mean that family does not want to pay. They'll pay. They're better about paying their stars than they used to be. But you know what? If they're paying their stars, they're going to cut somewhere else, and it has nothing to do with the salary cap. It's just a family tradition of being cheap.
I mean, Mixon is gone. He's down in where? Houston now, Joe Mixon, right?
Yeah, he didn't look too bad.
I mean, I don't want to lay 5.5. I kind of still lean Kansas City here. If they have a defense that's been there since Tyreek left, they were defensive. That hasn't changed. 27 points in 26 minutes versus the Ravens. I mean, well, anyway, official play here. Doug has taken the Bengals and 5.5. Should be a good one. And this goes to, how about the fact that this is a 4:00 game and you got the Bears. The Bears are the big Sunday night game because of Caleb Williams. Yeah, that's a great matchup there. Wonderful. Good job.
Oh, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Caleb Williams on the road, second game ever started.
Hey, can't ignore number 3 and 4 markets in the in TV markets in United States. So that's worth something.
I guess. How would KC Cincy rate? I mean, actually, we got KC and the Falcons next week after that, so you got that to look forward to. KC again in prime time already.
I mean, why are the Jets or the Giants ever on TV? I mean, let's be honest, but they're
Jets are on TV this year
because of the market. That's all. It's just the way it is.
Terrible. Well, let's talk about the Vegas market because Vegas is playing the Ravens 8.5. I mean, I saw 9.5 at one point for this game here. So I guess it's trickled down here, right? We're at 8.5 from a opener of 7 up to 9.5. A total of 41.5 here. And again, here's another overreaction kind of stuff, right? Oh my goodness. We should have won. The sky's falling, this kind of stuff. I got Vegas pegged as like a 5-win team, Chip. They're in your backyard. You got Minshew quarterbacking, new quarterback, new coach, new schemes. Ravens, let's be honest. I had the Ravens last week. I figured they had to really go out and make a statement there. It didn't go as planned. He had a bad fumble. He turned the ball over. Short field. Attributed to 10 easy points there. You can't do that to Mahomes, especially him. I think it's a big must-win game for these guys as much as you can in week 2. But you don't want to be 0-2 in the NFL, and you're supposed to be the best team in your division. Go ahead, Chip. Ravens, 8.5 against your Vegas Raiders.
I think they're going to be on the Ravens. Las Vegas' offense was pitiful last week.
Yeah.
Although they only allowed the Chargers 11 total first downs, but the Raiders only had 70 yards rushing. They allowed only 145 yards passing, so their defense was there. They're 7-2-1 under Pierce since he took over against the number. And in the last 2 games that Baltimore's played, they played Kansas City both times. In the playoffs last year, opening game this year, they lost both games by a touchdown, 27-20 and 17-10. Versus Kansas City, they ran the ball for 185 yards. That might seem really good. The problem that I see about it, and they only allowed 72, is that Lamar Jackson had 122 of those, and
Yes.
Henry, your big back that you come in, is he washed up? He had 13 carries for 46 yards. He's just not getting the ball. The Ravens here may be a little inflated, I think, because of how bad Pierce's in-game managing was, passing up field goal opportunities to punt from the 40-yard line and things along those lines. It's as if he wasn't playing to win. And I think this game stays under the total. If you look at the defensive numbers that the Raiders put up, and this is how Pierce pretty much approaches the game, I think. They're very aggressive defensively. I think the game is supposed to stay under the total. They 1 inch hurt the Ravens. If the Ravens if they had won that game or tied and gone overtime against Kansas City, I wonder if the line would be inflated as compared to where it is now. And it's a high line right now. Is it the biggest line on the board? I think it is 9.5 points, 8.5 points. Yeah. And, usually when I see the big one, I'm more inclined to want to lay it. And I don't want to lay it here because of the total and because of the way the Raiders are able to play defense. And I think they might be able to keep it close, but I think it stays under the total. The Raiders have absolutely no offense. Minshew wasn't bad at all, but he got no help from the running game, and decisions by the headmaster didn't help. The last time they met was in September of 2021, and the Raiders actually won in overtime, 33-27. I don't think that has anything to do with this game. I'm playing the under between the Raiders and the Ravens.
Official show pick under 41.5 from Mr. Chip Chirimbes. Find Chip's premium plays and Doug's premiums as well as mine over at gamblersworld.net. So under 41.5. Your thoughts on this one, Doug? Because I got to say, the overreaction, no matter what happened between these two teams, someone would have lost, someone would have won. The one team looks excellent. The other team looks bad. Must-win game the next game. The other team that won is like they're so much better because they beat a Super Bowl contender. The line goes up. That's what we see. That's what we see here.
Yeah, late in week 2, laying this many points. You got to have some courage in this case. But the thing about the Raiders, they're opening with 2 road games. Okay, so that's not ideal. Okay, now I know that this
cross country on top of it.
What's that?
Cross country too.
Right. Yeah. But it's been debunked that teams from West going to East play. That's no longer a thing. That's long gone. Okay, so don't just discount that all the way around. Here's the biggest difference in the game. Okay, Lamar Jackson against the Raiders quarterbacks, whether it's Minshew or the backup. There's all season long. I think this is the worst quarterback combination in the NFL, what the Raiders have, okay, between the two guys. Minshew, to me, at best, he's 25, 27 among NFL quarterbacks, somewhere's in there. Daniel Jones helps keep him up, a little bit from that standpoint. But, so I don't like the Raiders in this situation at all. I think they can, like last week, I think they can hang around, like what Chip said. And so if you're thinking of the Raiders, maybe something on the first half possibly might not be bad there, or even maybe a first quarter bet. But ultimately, I think Baltimore just wears them down. All 3 of my power ratings have Baltimore winning by 10 or more. So I'm going to go with that and take the Ravens on this one.
Not a big fan of Aiden O'Connell, huh?
Not a big fan, no. In fact, no fan at all, as a matter as it would be.
But you're right, because they're gonna the Ravens are gonna like play a little stupid a little bit early. I could see them being down like 7-3 or something, be like 10-6, and then Lamar's gonna start taking off and making plays himself and doing what he's got to do. I don't think the Raider defense is quite like Kansas City, so I think we'll probably see a little more Henry getting the ball more than 13 carries. But I'm with you. I think they pull away and get this one. And can the Raiders put up the points here to get to that over 41? I don't think they get there. I don't think it gets there.
What do you think? 14 tops? So 14 tops. I don't see Baltimore scoring less than 24.
I was gonna say like 27-10 is a cover there. It's an under. Yeah. It seems like even that 13, you'd still be safe.
Yeah. Yep.
23-14.
There you go. Under 41.5. Vegas, Ravens, chips play. Cincy plus 5.5 for Doug. And one more thing about the Kansas City there. It's not like I still can't believe it opened at 3.5 because I'm like you guys. It's like we go back to the 3 for home field advantage. How is it 3 at an opener 3.5? That makes zero sense to me.
Well, there's the odds makers telling you something.
So now you get the extra points here at 5.5 or even 6 if it gets sped up. I mean, let's be honest. So Kansas City is not going to be overlooking a team that's beat them here, 3 times either. So. No, they got 3 of the last 4, but I'm looking forward to that game because I want to see how Burrow's hand is. Speaking of guys who are not really great quarterbacks, Derek Carr, another Vegas guy, they jettison away, and Mr. Dak. Are you kidding me? The highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Cowboys laying a 6 spot, maybe a 6.5. 6 is flat here, and a 46.5, 47s around the board. Here's another couple teams, right? We get an overreact from. The Saints dropped 47 on Carolina, who did everything they could to keep giving points away. Oh, here's a crappy punt. Here's a couple fumbles. Here's an interception. How else could we help you guys put up 47? I mean, they scored 10 points. They should have scored 3 because they had a fumble for 2 yards for a touchdown. Panthers did. I mean, are they that bad? Are the Saints that good? The Cowboys looked really good against the Browns. But again, here's another overreaction. Is Watson just totally cooked because you were off for a year, you came back and played some games, and you still look like garbage? Where's the overreaction in that, right? Dallas was a dog favorite. They went to a dog, and they win going away. It wasn't even close. And here you come out of 6. This line hasn't moved. Both teams played really well. I'm going to look at the over here in this one, simply because I'm not – Dallas got their new defense going. I'm not still sold on their line, which is why I like Cleveland in week 1. But I think we have the 2 best players on the field with Dak and Lamb, I think, by far. I thought they were who's on the Saints we're going to? Alvin Kamara can't stay healthy. I mean, who is really good on the Saints? I can't think of a good guy on the Saints. I mean, is Sam Mills still linebacking over here? I mean, who's the good where is the talent over there? I don't like the coach. I think he's on the hot seat. I think really. I think, but give me an over here. I mean, I think Dallas is going to put up a 30-piece here at home. There was that time in the Romo years they couldn't cover a game at home. Dak comes to town. They're covering games at home, and they always score at home. I'm going to go over the 46.5, 47. Find the best number. I see some 47s there. I see a couple 46s. But, yeah, give me the over here. I mean, no thank you. No thank you to his side here. I can see Dallas pulling a Dallas stunt and losing, but I can see this game easily being like a 36-24 kind of game, getting to 50+. Doug, take it away early here.
Yeah, well, you can certainly make a case for New Orleans, and I can do it right off the top here, because when 2 teams are 1-0 against the spread and playing in week 2, the underdog since 2010 is on a 10-1 ATS run. So that's impressive. And also teams, generally speaking, that score 40 points in the 40s, I should say, not 40 or more, in the 40s. And if they go on the road, they typically cover, okay, in that situation. But you know what? We're still talking about Derek Carr here, okay? Derek Carr, I mean, I'm not even sure if he had to shower after that game, okay, because there was no pass rush, none from Carolina in this one. And how do you upset Derek Carr? a consistent pass rush. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what does Dallas bring? Yeah, we know what that's going to be, a consistent pass rush. I think the Saints here can make it interesting for a half, hanging in the game. But ultimately, I think Dallas has too much firepower. They are 6-2 recently against a spread as a home favorite of 7 or less. So I think they're going to end up winning this game to a similar score to what you mentioned, Sean, right around 10 points.
Yep, I totally agree. Michael Parsons could definitely bring a little pressure. I mean, that guy, he's fabulous.
He's an animal.
Mr. Chirimbes.
Well, Michael Parsons is healthy, and boy, he looks like a whole different player once again, or back to what we've seen in the past. And, both these teams are big winners opening week. But you know who's a big winner on September 12th? 1914. And I know you guys might remember this. You ready? Roger Peckinpah.
Oh,
He's 23-year-old shortstop for the New York Yankees, was named manager, the youngest manager in baseball until, Doug, can you tell me who the next youngest manager was?
I cannot.
Dave DeBusschere.
Oh,
Dave
okay.
DeBusschere.
Right, with the White Sox. And then
There we go. You
of
pulled
course,
that DeBusschere out last month. He used it.
That's right. Well, you got to remember these things. But in 1930, Al Lopez hit the last bounce home run in Major League history. They used to bounce the ball into the stands. You got considered a home run. The year Babe Ruth hit 60, he had 0, and people had said he had had a number of home runs that had bounced in. But that was the last one in 1930, and they changed the rule after that. 1947, Ralph Kiner, who led the National League in home runs 8 straight years, starting with his rookie year, hit his 8th home run in his 4th game. But now it gets interesting. In Cleveland in 1954, when they went to the World Series against the Mets, the Giants, who Mays made that catch, they swept a doubleheader from the Yankees on a Sunday and had 86,563 people at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. That's the all-time high record crowd. And now I got a question for you guys. What is the most strikeouts by a pitcher in a Major League Baseball game?
I thought, was it Kerry Wood?
Well, that's in a 9-inning game. But Tom Chaney struck out 21 in a 16-inning game. He went 16 innings, had 21 strikeouts. Nowadays, if you had 4 strikeouts in 8 innings, they were removing you.
And he probably lost 9-6 or something. Just let him in and all that.
And Dwight Gooden, by the way, set the rookie strikeout record on this date in 1984, 251. Of course, he had more. Vince Coleman in 87 stole his 100th base for the 3rd straight season. And in 1993, Paul Molitor was the oldest player ever to get 100 RBIs for the first time in his career. Of course, he ended up with 3,000 hits and was a Hall of Fame player. But other than that, this Derek Carr, by the way, is the all-time leading passer for the Raiders. Better than LaMonica, better than Stabler. And the guy just can't avoid the rush. You said it. There was no rush by the Panthers. You put any kind of pressure on this guy, and he folds like a tent. 19 of 23 last week. And there were only 2 cornerbacks that threw for 300 yards, which is sort of an anomaly. That hasn't happened in years. Carr threw to 142 rating. New Orleans is 10-2 to the over. I think this game goes over the total like you, Sean. I happen to agree with you. Dallas games are averaging 55.2 points at home when they're a favorite of 6 or more. And I just think the game goes over. I think, in spite of what we feel about Carr, because I don't think he's a big winner either. But it's an anomaly that those stats, he leads the Raiders in every category as a passer: touchdown passes, yards, percent, and yet they don't win.
How many years was he there?
Too many.
Well, the other thing, though, too, is that, the game's so different. LaMonica and Stabler, Mad Bomber, for those that don't know who Daryl LaMonica, that was his nickname.
Mad Bomber.
And then Snake Stabler. But, they both of in that era, they still ran the ball a ton. Most teams averaged 35 or more rush attempts per game. Okay. Right. That was the norm then. So that doesn't surprise me. And obviously the NFL football has changed dramatically, and it's even changing. The passing yards is changing a lot now because, as you mentioned, fewer 300-yard games because teams are putting so much pressure on quarterbacks. They're just checking down all the time now. So different game.
And Doug, Daniel Jones reminds me of Carr, having that kind of career, but not quite as good.
Right. Yeah. Just Daniel Jones. I'm not sure. I saw him at Duke, and I did not see #1 draft choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they drafted
9
him
years
because
for him.
they had him in the Giants camp, and when they have football camps, and they had him there for a number of years, and I think that was why they were kind of swayed. But he still hasn't delivered as of yet. The best games he's had is when he's broken big runs.
Yeah, well, it's like the Raiders though with DeMarcus Russell. I mean, the thing that impressed them was that during when his pro day, he got on his knees and threw the ball 70 yards in the air. Okay, from his knees. Okay. That was the only thing he ever really accomplished, okay, as a NFL player.
Carr, 9 years in LA or Vegas. And also you talk about Russell for the Raiders back in the day. That's also the Raiders were good for just drafting whoever could run the fastest too. They can make him a wide receiver. Oh, he's so fast. We just throw it down the field, they'll catch it like you're playing in the street with your friends. Like, just go deep. I'm going to chuck it with my Nerf football.
Well, they made it work with Cliff Branch back in the day, so that was the
Mad Bomber.
What's that?
Darryl LaMonica was called the Mad Bomber because he used to throw so many deep passes.
Yep.
Cliff Branch, wasn't he number 21?
Yes. I don't think they were allowed 21 back in those days.
Yeah, he had a different number, Cliff Branch. Maybe 31. Maybe 31. I don't
recall. University of Colorado, though. He was a
now I've got to look. Cliff, because I knew he had an off number. Because I remember Todd Christensen was 46 tight end. I liked him.
You know what? Those were the AFL days, so that could very well be. That's how it started because with the AFL before they merged. So that's very possible.
Cliff Branch, 21. He's 21.
Nice job. What did
you have
for breakfast this morning?
I had, what I had for breakfast? I had like half a bag of tortilla chips, like they're fresh from the HEB. They make them fresh.
Okay, I was going to say you can remember Cliff Branch's number, but you can't remember what you had for breakfast.
Right? No, isn't it like bizarre how you can just remember like something? And it wasn't like I was a Raider fan, but I guess just that catch, whatever it was in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs against the Steelers or whatever, he just had the big bomb. He caught it. Like Todd Christensen again. He always stuck out with me just because he was number 46. I'm like, man, 46. That's most guys are like 84 at tight end. He's a 46. Who uses that number? This guy is crazy. I don't know. There we go. I'm on my little rant time. Whatever. The hell with your people. You don't like my little oldie rants. At least they're in the 80s. I'm not going back to 1931. All right, come on, give me a break here, folks. 1914. All right, I like the over in the Cowboys 46.5. Chip likes the over in the Ravens 41.5 versus Las Vegas. Doug is grabbing under. I'm sorry, under. It's scrolling under. Doug is on the Cincinnati Bengals plus 5.5, and we all agree like that's a good number considering what it opened at, and they think they're barely better at home, which is. I guess we're going to be talking about this one on Monday when we come back on the show about this game. But
one way or the other.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we got some good things to talk about. I mean, you got some matchups here. That'll be some worthwhile talk on a Monday morning. And on a Monday night, we do the live show now. So if you guys are around, you're more than welcome. They send out the email blast like, hey, live show at 7 p.m. And granted, it is only one game this week, Falcons and Eagles, where next week it's a double dipper. Jags, Bills. I know that. I mean, Jags and Bills, and
they're only 45 minutes apart too. That's another oddity in terms of starting time. I get it, but I like.
What are you gonna do? Start the game at 10:30 at night?
What's that?
On the West Coast, we start at 10:30, and who's watching it?
Yeah, well, no, I get why they want to get the East Coast audience. That's not the issue, and it doesn't align itself unless you have a West Coast team. But it seemingly was always it made more sense to have it start the other game at halftime, basically an hour and a half difference. But they want to keep the Monday Night Football time, which would be 8:15 Eastern. I mean, that's just how.
I mean, they can't. You go 10 o'clock is a little too late. I mean, it used to be 9 o'clock all the time, but if they want to, it's got to be like a 6 and 9, and you can't do a 6 o'clock game at Giants.
They're not on the same network, obviously.
I don't know. Who knows what the game plan is? These people are putting a game on a Wednesday for Christmas when they're playing games on Sunday and Saturday. So I don't know. They're making their money. So you can make some money too by entering our NFL Progressive Pick'em at Gamblers World. Go get it. Free to enter, cash prizes, and pick prizes as well. but you guys want the cash. So enter. It costs you nothing. Just like hitting the like button. It costs you nothing. Hit the like button. You come in here every day. Free picks galore for you 5 days a week. Live shows twice a day. And I think Friday, Victor King and Marc Lawrence again. That's tomorrow, by the way. It's Football Friday, in case you didn't know what day it was of the week. Football Friday is tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Be part of it. Now, 3 7:30 packages are up, guaranteed for you at gamblersWORLD.net. Chip got something special for you. His A play is rolling. Doug will have you covered with his games as well. I am already up with, I think, 6 packages between NFL and college football Saturday and Sunday. So go get it. Come back tomorrow for the live show, 1 o'clock Eastern time. For Doug, Chip, myself, gamblersworld.net, and the Winner Circle YouTube channel. We're out of here. Good luck. Bye-bye.